Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Alexiot's here. It's Wednesday morning, and we still have one more day before we return to the court with the Raptors tomorrow night against the New Orleans Pelicans. But we do have a 9:05 game today that I'll do a little preview for today. And I see lots of people in the comments already. A little bit of excitement about things that are happening right now. The Raptors did have a practice yesterday, an evening practice, and we got practice interviews from Precious, Fred, and Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse saying that everybody practiced yesterday, guys. Everybody except for one. And that one was Pascal Siakam because he was on the All-Star break. Well, he got an extra day to be away and did not have to report for practice yesterday. He'll be reporting today and will be at practice today, Siakam. But yeah, the other guys all practice and they all expected to play. Nobody's going to be missing for the game on Thursday. OG is ready to go. Thaddeus, ready to go. Gary is ready to go. There ain't nobody that ain't ready to go. They're all ready to go, and we're ready to go. Oh, yeah, we are. We can't wait. We've been biting at the chop for the last 5 days to get right back to this Yaka project. We want to see more results. We want to see more of the good stuff coming, and that's why we can't wait. All right, let me check in with the comments real quick. Isaac Campbell is saying playoff Pirtle coming at you. That's right, coming right at you. There's some footage from practice yesterday of Pirtle taking baseline jumpers. Yeah, really weird. Like 12-foot jumpers right on the baseline to the side of the basket. Just throwing them up. Some of them look real ugly. I'm not gonna lie, some of them look real ugly. But I think they are doing some weird things with him that may be a little bit out of his normal wheelhouse as far as skills on the court and maybe trying to expand them. So that is a very interesting tell right there. Mike is here, logical Raptors fanatic. That pick gives me goosebumps from the intensity of the happiness and knowing how true and real that friendship is. I feel blessed to have Jakob back. I'm serious. I've used this saying before already. The Jakob sunshine, the Yak sunshine, the Jakob sunshine is a real thing. It's like it has a power on us as fan nation. It has a power on the teammates. It has a power on the coaches and the organization overall. That him coming up and coming to our team again really has made things much more sunshiny when things were dark and gray and sad. Outside, it's snowing. There's snow falling on the ground in the 416 right now. And it is dark and gray out there, but it isn't in the OVO Center. It isn't at the Scotiabank Arena. It isn't in the hearts of Raptor freaks across this world. That we know that Big Yak is back, and the Yak attack is going to be stacked against all you jabronis out there. So you get ready for your time against Jakob. That's right, Jonas versus Jakob. First up, let's go, big man. Let's go, big JV. Yeah, let's go, big JV. Yeah, you remember this guy, this Austrian guy who showed up right near the end when you were here? Yeah, you remember him. You played next to him. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah, Austria versus Lithuania. Bam, bam. Yeah, bring it on, JV. Yeah, come on now, Valanciunas. Come on now. I love it. Mike is also saying he's got cool emoticons. He's got a high five. He's got Jakob. He's got Bless the Yak. He's got the cup. He's got the Larry O.B. It looks like there, number 19. Yak, number 19. Yes, Jakob is the, I don't know. Yeah, he's the Yak. You know, Samson Folk, you crazy motherfucker. He said on Twitter in the last 24 hours that if Jakob Pertl hits 3 3-pointers by the end of the season, he will get a tattoo of a yak on his body. I know Simpson took that bet because he knows it's probably not likely. And statistically, it very much isn't very likely. But for some reason, I really want Jakob to try and do this just to make young folk get that tattoo on his body. Get that yak on there. So, Jakob, if you could know that Samson will have to get a tattoo if you make 3 3-pointers this year, yeah, that'll be fun. Tom Duke is in the house. West Coast Raptor freaks in the house. A couple of seasoned vets playing out their dreams, supported with a true mix of talent, some raw and some proven. The Raptor stew has simmered long enough. Time to eat. Tom is hearkening back to an old metaphor that I've used on this channel before. That, you know, with a team, sometimes that stew ain't ready to eat right away because it needs time to simmer. It needs time to cook, slow cook. to get those flavors entwined and raveled together in the juice and whatever you put in there. And I think what happened is just before the break, we acquired a big, huge soup bone, with all kinds of flavors. Sometimes you put that bone in that stew or soup, and it elevates the flavor texture to a place where you just are like, yeah, this stew is good, and I'm gonna like savor it as I eat it. Oh, so warm and hearty on such a cold winter snowy day in February in Toronto. That stew, it's been simmering on that oven for about a year or two. And now it's like we added that big milk bone, that big last piece right in the middle of there. And it's just getting that extra flavor, that perfect flavor to the stew. And it's time to taste it and eat it. And yes, we're ready for the stew, Tom. We are ready. That stew's been simmering long enough. It's time to taste it. That's right. NBA, you're going to be tasting it. Yeah. Banana Bread Tan saying, good morning, Raptor Freaks. Good morning to Banana Bread Tan. Always love to see your name in the comments. And I always love that your icon is orange. I like that orange icon for some reason. Naco the Nacho is here. Good to see my good friend Gerald Mayhew, a comedian here in Toronto. He's a very funny guy. If you see his name on the marquee, go see it because that's Naco the Nacho. And he's funny as hell. Yeah. I think we're the one team in the East that improved the most with this trade. I love what Naco is saying, and I cannot disagree. In some ways on the download, this is so true. I know I'm biased. Oh, of course I'm biased. But in some ways, this is actually seriously true. Because, all right, this is what teams do at the trade deadline. They try and fulfill weaknesses or try and fix things on their team to make the last run to try and get in the playoffs or get higher in the playoffs or get really better. And in some ways, we had such a huge glaring need, like maybe the biggest weakness to our team in the last 3 years is not having a center. And we finally filled that weakness. And not only that, we filled it in a seamless way, in a very sudden way, and it may be a very jarring way for other teams in the league when they come play us and we play them. Yeah, they're going to find out. The Raptors were already annoying because we play like Raptors. We seize the day. We go and seize the ball. We go and retake it back anytime we want. Well, we got Jakob now, and that's what I'm saying. We're filling the biggest void and problem that was on our team for like a long time, seriously. And now we've got him. Yeah, we just filled a huge hole. And there's no reason why not to think that this will have huge implications for our winning and us playing better. Because listen, they're not going to want to shine a light on that move. They're going to look at all the other flashy shit that's happening all over the place. Russell going to the Clippers, all the different stuff that's happened recently. And they're going to conveniently forget about Jakob. And in some ways, that's good because we want a sneak attack. And you know what we want? We want to kick so much ass that by the end of the season, they're going to be saying something like what Gerald just said. That Jakob Poeltl move that the Raptors made was a huge impact in the Eastern Conference standings and how the East played out. The results will come to that, and then they'll have to say, wow, they did really make a smart move at the trade deadline, reacquiring Jakob Poeltl. So in time, they will come to realize what you are saying there, Naco the Nacho. I really believe it. Greg is here, the Gubstown Clink. Go check out the Gubstown Clink. He's got a drop today at 4:20 p.m. What is that time? Is that your time, Greg? Mike's got 2 o'clock on Saturday. I got 9:30 in the morning every day. And Greg is dropping stuff at 4:20 p.m. Greg, you smoker, you chronic motherfucker. Yeah. He's saying the stew is ready also. Now, I would take the expertise of Greg on knowing when the stew's ready because that is his profession. He is a cook. He is a chef. He makes culinary designs and great tasting things. And, well, he can taste it. And let's see if Greg's tasting the stew. And he said, this stew's tasting pretty good, Lex. I think we're ready. All right, I'm going to believe him because he knows. Chef Kiss approved. Yeah, just like he says on his show. Chef Kiss approved. Boing. All right, Mike, let's see what else Mike's saying here. Logical Raptors Fanatic. Always check out Logical Raptors Fanatic. Salute the real ones, Project Truth. Always. Project Truth now more than ever. That is what I'm saying. Allstar is saying we're all business, baby. We're all business. We really are. Nick was saying yesterday, we came back already from All-Star break because we got early All-Star break. Really, because we finished our game early last week. Some teams had to play like 2 days after we finished. So really our All-Star break for the guys was really front-loaded, and they got a lot of their days off last week, Well, they had to report back yesterday and do their first practice back. And Nick says to get out of that All-Star break funk that we've been susceptible to in past years, where we come back flat after the All-Star break. He's making them practice 2 days in a row ahead of coming back, just to make sure they're ready and in the right mode. So I really like that. He said it was a front-loaded All-Star break. They got to have their time off at the beginning of it. Now, near the end of it, we're utilizing this for practice. And that's why they're back up here in the snowy Canadian winter. Yeah, I was saying, like, listen, all right, I got to ask this. And I know you may not be here right now, Kenny, but I have to ask Kenny something. He may watch this at other time, or maybe we'll see him next time on the chat. But on Twitter yesterday, Shanika Young posted something about having to come back to the cold of Canada. Woo! And there's a picture of her and Thad, and they're kind of looking like not too thrilled. But somebody named Kenny came in and commented on the post, and they said, you know what? The cold is good for your skin. I want to know if that's our Kenny that wrote that in there. And if it is, you go, Kenny, with your work and what you're trying to do. And Shanika actually responded to him and with like a really funny meme with a guy making a weird face. Like, bro, really? You go, Kenny. You put it out there. Yeah, it's good for your skin. The cold weather, Shanika Young. It's good for your skin. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's see. Top saying Project Truth. Y'all got me laughing in here. Well, that's what it is, baby. We may be delusionally truthful in our love for the Raptors, and we may see the brightest spots and the brightest things, and we may downplay the ugly things, but we really are trying to tell the truth. And the truth is Jakob Poeltl is a perfect fit, and we're about to destroy the Eastern Conference for the rest of the year. Fred, in his interview yesterday, was very businesslike, like Allstar saying, very businesslike. He's saying, listen, yeah, we're 4 games out of the playoffs. We are going to make the playoffs, y'all. He's saying it. He's like, this is what we were all about. We are focused and we are ready to make some noise. And not only that, Fred said, listen, I want to make noise in April and May and June. I want to take this team as far as I can take it, is what Freddie said yesterday. It says he's just ready to get back to work. And he's just talking about all the fun stuff about playing with Jakob once again, and just how easy it is to pick up where they left off from 4.5 years ago and just have that instant chemistry. That chemistry is just genuinely there because these guys are smart guys. They know what each other's thinking, and they can anticipate it. And that's such a powerful, strong thing to have. In fact, they talked a lot about the trio of them, Pascal, Fred, and Jakob, and how important it is for them to work as a unit for the rest of this year in helping to make sure we win, because we don't have much of a margin of error. That's what Fred said. He said, we don't have time to learn this or get it together, have a learning curve, make mistakes and get better as it goes. We need to get going right now. There's no time to waste. And the learning curve, it's out the window. We just got to go with it and make it happen. And that's all it is. Jakob is just 3 games back with us, but that don't fucking matter. We just got to go with it and make it happen. And there may be some rough spots. There may be a little bit of incongruency at times where it's not totally smooth, but for the most part, they are probably going to look really good, and that he won't stick out like a sore thumb, that he's just came back and stuff like that. So, yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, Project Truth, baby, is in the house. Project Truth is important because it's back behind stats. And it's back behind, in some ways, the NBA is so biased against us. They won't give us the shine. They won't tell the truth about the Raptors. And that is what Project Truth is all about. We will champion and celebrate our victories and our accomplishments. If they won't, we will. And that is part of Project Truth. Shere Khan saying Raps can definitely win close to 20 games if some of the top teams sit their star players at the end of the season, mainly Boston and Milwaukee. I'm so looking forward to the end of the season, Shere Khan. I've said this before recently, and I'm sorry if I'm a broken record. It really is like a video game. We're going to play all these teams ahead, and they're different levels. We go through all the levels. We get to the boss levels at the end of the season. 2 games in Boston on their court, and then we come back home. We play Milwaukee in the last game of the season. That's like boss level stuff. And by then, I want to level up our team to the point where we are a very, very equal match, if not kicking their ass and winning those games. If we win 2 out of those 3 last games, watch out. Eastern Conference. That will signal that we are for real and we're coming to fuck things up in the playoffs for all y'all. Yeah, that's right. Because it's true. This is going to be tough. Man, if you think we can get 20 of those games, there's 23. That means we're only losing 3. In some ways, that's also like a video game. You get 3 lives and then you lose. You can only lose 3 times. Shere Khan, I love what you're saying, and I think we can do it. I really do. Fred believes in it, and these guys are not no joke. Precious was interesting in his interview yesterday. One of the things he was talking about with the effect of Jakob coming to the team is like, yes, he's very good for being around for size and muscling around and doing big guy things. But I don't want anyone to think that I'm shying away from doing those duties myself, that I very much enjoy mixing it up physically down low. And he's just another reinforcement. He's another guy to be alongside in that fight. But don't think that Precious Achua is going to be any less physical out there just because Jakob Poeltl's around. That's what he's trying to tell y'all yesterday. That was his message, is that, yeah, the big man's here and he's going to help us a lot. But I still love playing center, and I still love getting those tough, strong assignments. And I'm still up for the challenge, and I'm ready for it. So don't think just because he's come around, the big yak, that Precious is going to loaf or be like, yeah, I'm not doing contact anymore because the big man's here. No, he's on the front line with him. He's going to fight with the other team just as strong, too. So I loved hearing that from Precious, because that's true. You know, these guys can't loaf just because the big man's here to take the big part of the burden. They need to still come in with very physicalness and just stay the same way that we're already doing it without him, because in some ways that'll make us even more overpowering. The fact that we've done certain things this season without a center and with shadowing and 2 guys playing as a center has been really impressive in a way, even though we've been losing. Well, with the center, a lot of that stuff gets cleared up and easier and frees guys up to do more for other things in other areas. And that's a big part of it all right there. Banana Bread Tan saying Playoff Poeltl is a go-getter of buckets, rebounds, and dunks. Our opponents don't want his smoke. I knew he'd start shooting as soon as he got here. If he can hit a fadeaway jumpers, ooh, Banana Bread Tan is licking his lips and it's like, ooh, if he can hit those jumpers, woo. And if anybody's crazy enough to allow him and try and get him to do that and actually do it in the games, it's Nick Nurse. We know that. We know that. Yeah, I think that, listen, like I said a couple times, sometimes I'm going to sound like a broken record. Poeltl is starved for winning. Poeltl has been on the Spurs, and he has not won a whole lot since he was gone from Toronto. He was used to winning when he was here for the first 2 years in Toronto of his career, and he did not win a lot in San Antonio. It was just a case of where they are as a franchise. And you know what? He likes winning. He really does. You can tell. And this is the thing. He's going to do what it takes and what he can do to add up to winning. And that's the thing that's different about him than like a really good scorer, a guy who has to score to add up to winning. This guy doesn't have to score to add up to winning. You can have all kinds of different ways he can contribute and be underlying part of why we won. So I'm really all about it. It's so crazy. And you're right. They don't want to smoke. In some ways, he is scary to other teams because he's very strong. It's not Steven Adams exactly, but it's not far off. I'm going to just say that. You know how Steven Adams has kind of got a reputation and is a little feared around the league? Well, Jakob is a little bit built like him and strong like him. And there are some common threads there for sure. Let me see what else you guys are saying. G is here. I was happy when we got Yak, then watched him play and was even happier. Seeing their chemistry and knowing how difficult it is to grab a good big like Yak makes me even more excited about the future. I know. This is just, in some ways, this is the trial run into this playoffs. But listen, there's so many more chances in a way down the road. If we re-sign him this summer, which we will, trust me, 100%. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm really going to be shocked if Jakob Poeltl is not in the Raptor Red next season, that we are going to be even more solidified and strong going into next season. And what I predicted for this season that didn't happen because of injuries and bad luck will happen next season, that we're going to come in like gangbusters. And I want to see Nick Nurse coaching that All-Star game next year, that he is going to be the top Eastern Conference coach by the All-Star break because of a record, and that he is the coach at the All-Star game. That's what I want to see next year. That's something that I very much want to come into fruition. But yeah, it is tough to get bigs. We've had a hard time getting them, and now that we've landed them, The future is very, very bright, and I am so happy too. I'm ecstatic about this. This All-Star break has just kind of been a pause and kind of like a reflection time. And I've caught myself in the last 5 days just staring listlessly into space and thinking, wow, Pirtle's on our team. Wow, this is amazing. I'd be like that. I'd be like, wow, if I ever got a little down in like the last week, I'd be like, yeah, you know what, Lex? Yeah, this may suck, but Jakob Pertl's on the Raptors. Wow. And then I'm instantly just cheered up. It really is an antidepressant. It's kind of crazy how that Jakob sunshine has an effect on all of us in different ways. Whether it's on Fred and Gary, going to get more open shots. Pascal's just going to be more happy. Well, it's an antidepressant for me. So crazy. All right, let's see. What else Greg's saying? At Sheer Khan, those are key games. I think we play each of them twice, don't we? Key back-to-back versus Washington for us. Yeah, the schedule's really weird. Like the last 5 games of the season, we go to Charlotte and play 2 games in a row at Charlotte against LaMelo and company. And then we go straight to Boston. And that first Boston game in Boston is actually the night after the last game in Charlotte. So that is a back-to-back where we play one night in Charlotte and then go straight to Boston and play the next night there. And then we get a day off and play Boston again in Boston. And then we come back and play Milwaukee, and that's the end of the season. Those are the last 5 games. So kind of 2 games against Charlotte, and Charlotte hopefully will be very easy and we kick their ass, and then some real tough battles right at the end. But in some ways, like I said, let's go out with a bang. And it may be true. These guys may be thinking long-term playoffs at that point, and there may be no Giannis in the very last game of the season. There may be some Celtics getting rest games in this 2 games that we play them. So we'll have to see where it's at that point. But they better watch out because we're not going to be coming there to lose. By the end of the season, we're going to need to win those games to help our record and where we are in the standings. So they may be not playing for anything, or maybe they're fine-tuning where they want to be in the standings for the playoff seeding. But they better watch out because we're going to be very dangerous when we show up there, and we may be playing to win, and they may not be. So we don't know exactly what the motivations of the teams are going to be then. I know what our motivation will be, but I don't know what the Celtics or the Bucks motivation will be by the end of the season as far as what they want to do in relation to their playoff seed. So we'll have to see because these teams are cheesy like that. They'll load manage right at the end of the game or the end of the season just to avoid a matchup in the first round. They'll actually like throw games at the end just to try and get a better matchup that they like. So it's very weird. Very, 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 very weird. Let's see. Chris comes here. Good to see the great Chris come. I wonder what he would predict about the rest of this season with Jakob Pertl here. Chris, you let me know what you think. Here we go. Hoping for 75% wins minimum in these last 23 games. I like how teams aren't talking about the Yak acquisition. Yeah, it's really like they really don't pay attention to this. They're going to pay attention to every other move and go crazy about it. Very, very quiet, very not much spotlight on the Raptors move. Of course, they don't want to put a shine on us. Well, that is actually an advantage for us. They can go ahead and sleep on us. We won't hit the alarm and let it go off and wake them up. We'll just go ahead and let them sleep. But they'll get a rude awakening at some point when we actually play them. Yeah, I love it, Chris Cummins. So I like your prediction. 75% wins minimum we need to get. So 3 out of 4 games we need to be winning. Shir Khan saying at the Jubstown Clink, yeah, bunch of back-to-back games. Don't think we will ever have the repeat of Orlando because front court D is back in business. That's right. Yeah, and it really is that game. We got bullied in Orlando, those 2 games down there by their huge size. Bobo, Mobamba, Banchero, all those guys, they beat us up and they out-rebounded us. They out-blocked us. They just were the bigger team. Well, it didn't look like that when we played them right before the break last week, before the All-Star break, that we look like the bigger bully team with Jakob on the team now. And that is very clear difference in how we are from before Jakob and then. You can see it in the Orlando games this season. That, the first 3 games, we didn't have Jakob. We won the first one. We lose the 2 in Orlando, and then we win the second one here. So we won both games in Toronto and lost both games in Orlando, split 2-2 with Orlando Magic this season. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. Fiercey saying, good morning, fam. I feel so optimistic now that everyone is almost 100% healthy and our team is complete. Nick Nurse said, OG, Gary, and even Thad, we're back in training. Yeah. They were all practicing yesterday. OG hanging out after practice for a little extra shooting with Jakob and Koloko, according to Josh Lewenberg. Let me see what he's saying here. This is straight from Josh Lewenberg's Twitter. Anunoby, Trent, and Thad Young all participated in the Raptors evening practice today. Per Nick Nurse, they all look good, healthy, and ready to go. He expects them all to play Thursday versus New Orleans. Sounds like the plan is to ease those guys back, especially Anunoby, who missed the last 9 games before the break with a wrist injury. Nurse wouldn't say who they'll start now that everybody's healthy. We'll look at it. We've got some decisions to make, but they're good decisions. Anunoby, who's been out for nearly a month, is among the last Raptors players on the floor, getting in some extra post-practice work tonight. The others, rookie Christian Koloko and the newest Raptor, Jakob Poeltl. And there's a picture of OG taking shots, and there's the Noah system. I can see it in the back. And yeah, it looks like he's he's looking pretty smooth. He's got the long sleeves. It's Rico throwing him the ball and bringing it over to him. Yeah, looks like OG's looking pretty good. So this is all very good news. Is kind of what I was hoping would happen over the break. Give you some time to heal up and get ready. And hopefully on the other side, we have them all ready and they're back. And well, it sounds like that is going to be the case. So yeah, be happy, be smiley, Raptor fans. We might get our whole roster on the court tomorrow. And that's a very, very good thing. Mike is saying, let's see what Mike is saying. It jumped a little bit. I love to see all the people in the comments. Top, just because you have a narrow view on Fred doesn't make the things I say any less true. Real hoop heads that care about actual basketball things know Fred is an above average guard. Yeah, there's a lot of statistical stuff coming out. Like we see his stat line from the last 3 years. Monique has posted it on her Instagram, and some other people are posting all over the place. That Fred's stats are pretty much the same as they've been the last 3 years. There's like very slight dip in his scoring. I think he's like 19.7 per game, and he was 20.1 last year. So it's like they're very, very close. His stats he's very consistent. It's just that y'all need to realize with streak shooters and shooters in general, like John Starks in the history of it is an average that is like has a very wide range. There may be very shitty, but there's very, very good at like 30 to almost 40 points and like a bunch of assists, but it all balances out over time. But when somebody's streaky like that, sometimes it's all or nothing, feast or famine. You get everything dumped in one game, and he gets a huge mega game, and then some games he has nothing. But it all averages out in the end, and that's what people have to realize about Fred. Yeah, I don't know if he's coming at you about the idea about what Project Truth is. That's fine. Everybody has their own truth. Some people are delusional. Some people have really weird truths to their lives, and that's fine. Just as long as everybody allows everybody their ability to have their own truth in their own life. And they're not trying to, like, I don't know. In some ways, sure, Top's truth about Fred, he can have that. But in some ways, it doesn't jive with our whole line of thinking here. So there may be conflicts, but that's just what it is. Our truth is the Raptors are a great organization, and we want to win Larry O'Brien's. And that's basic truth of that. I'm a fun guy's here. Good to see my 905 friend, the big man. I'm a fun guy. That's right. He's probably our center if we're going to play a team. Real question. Yak versus S.Adams. And what's crazy is we didn't just get a big. We got one of the best in the league who's so underrated. He really is. In some ways, he's very much in the mold of T.Duncan. Unassuming, not really trying to get that rah. Doesn't really give a shit about accolades or awards. He just shows up with his lunch pail and puts in work and puts in winning basketball. And that's the thing about Jakob that people are going to realize more and more. And that's why people will love him more and more. People already love him, but they're going to love him even more when they see that block-up party, blocking all over the place. And just the stellar help defense on team defense and the things that he's going to do. People are going to recognize the blue-collarness in his game. And he will he's going to become more and more of a fan favorite. He probably already is, just because he's like a savior, just showed up. And in some ways, that's a lot of pressure to put on him, but in some ways it isn't. It's just what he's going to do because that's what his role does. Is he's got broad shoulders, he's strong, he can carry. So yeah, I think I think what you're saying is true. It's like we got one of the best underrated bigs in the league that people don't really give enough shine because there's so many other names that, do more scoring or do other things. But I'm totally with you, fun guy, on what you're saying here. MSJ saying excited to see this team beat the Cavs. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I'm excited to see them beat everybody. Let's start with the Pelicans. They have some injuries. I don't want to do a pre-injury report, but there are some things going on with their team that are a little tough right now with Zion being out. And there's a couple other guys that have lingering injuries that on that team, like Dyson Daniels. But we'll have to see. I'll do the full preview tomorrow on game day, of course, with the ref report and everything. Speaking of the ref report, let's do a little bit of a preview for tonight in Windy City. Yeah, the Raptors 905 are playing the G League Bulls in Windy City tonight. Have your referees for the game at 8 o'clock tonight. p.m. Eastern time. So watch the game on YouTube if you can. Tyler Merkovich is the crew chief for the game for the 905 tonight. Marcy Williams is the referee, and R.J. Johnson is the umpire. Now, a little bit of notes on the 905 roster. Delano Banton has been assigned to them and is in Windy City to play tonight. So he will be there, and I'm pretty sure the two ways are there also. Doughton and Harper. Because Reggie Perry is in Argentina with Coach Nate Bjorngren Nate Bjorngren's with Team Canada, but Reggie Perry's with Team USA. Those guys are down there participating in this tournament right now. So Bjorngren's not going to be on our bench because he's actually coaching Team Canada in a FIBA tournament down there. And Reggie's playing for USA, of course, down there. So they have a replacement guy named Williams who is going to be playing for the Raptors 905 tonight. I don't remember his first name. I think it's like Freddie Williams or Freddie Mitchell. I forget what his name is. I should have went and looked up his name. But there's a new guy coming in. And, so we'll have to see how the Raptors 905 do tonight. Delano and the two ways are going to be with them, I'm pretty sure. Koloko, though, is not. Koloko is here with us still in Toronto and not with the 905 there because they're going to play 2 games in a row in Windy City against the Bulls. So they got today, and then they play them again tomorrow. So there you go. There's your preview for tonight. I don't know if this ref crew is any good. I don't have any information on them, and I don't have any stats. But, it's the G League. It is the G League. All right, Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Free crew. One more day. Yes, one more day until they're back. Pelicans in the house. Jose. Come and play against your buddy. Scotty Barnes, he's gonna beat you this time. That's right. Maybe some smack talk, maybe some fun, maybe some smiles on the run, playing against Jose Alvarado and Scotty Barnes, newfound friends from the All-Star weekend. Going to be adversaries, foes tomorrow night. And let the smack talk begin. And go and get in and win that game, Scotty Barnes. So you can say, Grand Theft Alvarado, I've got your number. Yes, we love the competition. Trevor's here. Good to see Trevor J. A new name in here. And we're doing this every single morning, 9:30. Tomorrow we'll be doing the preview for the game straight up, the ref report, the real mascot matchup, the latest lineup news, and the keys to the victory every single time. Trevor's saying the Raptors are going to surprise a lot of people. Yes, Trevor. That is something that I want to believe, and I do think can be very well true. And I think that hopefully it will happen in the postseason, that we beat the first team in the first round. If we get the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round, oh, poor Cavaliers, I feel so bad for you because we're not a good matchup for y'all, and we will kick your ass. But I'm so about any kind of first round matchup. We get that rematch from last year. Love to see us match up against big man Embiid, having a big man finally. Get a little get back against them in the first round. And that's what I'm saying. Raptor fans, if we have a horrible year, a tough year of injuries and bad record, and everybody's like, we're so mid, we just need to tank for Wemby. But we turn it around and we rise up. And by the end of the season, we get past the first round of the playoffs. Will you say that this season is a success? I do, because it's progressed and we've gotten further. And that's what I'm saying. Don't think that this is so out of reach. In fact, the adversity of this season are lessons that are very strong in building character for championship teams. So in some ways, our adversity, our losing, our problems this year could very well end up being a very strong, good thing that happened to us in the long run. So I'm excited about this. And I am with you, Trevor. I think we're going to surprise a lot of people by the end of the year because nobody wants to pay attention to the Jakob move. And they don't truly understand the ramifications of the Raptors filling the biggest void on their roster. The very biggest, the big man. Greg is saying at MSJ, laugh out loud. I love your Cavs loathing Where does it stem from? The LeBronto days? That's where mine does. Greg, you could ask me that question. I'll tell you why I hate the Cavs. I hate the Cavs for a bunch of reasons. Listen, in some ways, the Raptors and the Cavs, Cleveland and Toronto are synonymous with bad luck in sports. They used to say this all the time. Well, Toronto and Cleveland, they're always going to lose. It's just how it is. I don't believe that. And the 2019 champion Raptors proved that for me. And, the Cavs winning the championship when they did too kind of busted out of a losing streak for that sports city. Now, the reason, sure, but LeBronto's a real easy way for the reason why to hate the Cavs. But you know what? For a while, they got bad after LeBron left. And I'm like, okay, I'm not as mad at them anymore. But then when the Scotty Barnes, Evan Mobley rookie race started up, and all of them started talking shit about number 4, and then they were talking up Evan, they still do this shit. Yeah, it made me hate them even more because I can see them on Twitter talking all their trash and stupid shit. And let me tell you, there's people in Cavs Nation that hate the Raptors just as much as Sixers Nation, just as much as Nets and Celtics Nation. They are very much an enemy fan nation. And I'm not about liking them in any kind of way. They slight us in every kind of way in their propaganda and social media places. So I'm just going to do the same damn shit to them. And the Cavs suck. They're way overrated. They got Donovan Mitchell this year, and everybody wants to say, oh, they're this and this and this. Well, I see all the flaws in their team too with Donovan Mitchell. In fact, I pointed them out as soon as they made the move, and they have been slightly true. Now, they can get away with scoring like crazy against people in the regular season and do that, but it ain't going to work in the playoffs, Cleveland. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're going to have to rely on Jared Allen to keep some defense for y'all at some point. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But, yeah, we just hate Cleveland because they're a rival, and their fan nation is very angry and aggressively mean to us. So why not match that energy towards them, And plus, people in Ohio, I have problems with them. Some of them people in Ohio are a little racist and messed up. Trust me, that state is very racist. It's not in the South, but it may be one of the most racist North states in the United States. So, yeah, I got all kinds of problems with Cleveland. You want a list? I can give you a list. Yeah. Space Cadet saying, I feel like my messages are being filtered out. YouTube is being weird again. Really? Space Cadet? I have not seen a single message from you in the chat yet. And I will read every single one. I apologize and know that it's nothing I'm doing to you. So just keep at it and hopefully we'll see it. If you're writing anything like controversial, maybe they are. He's like, oh no, Space Cadet knows something and they don't want that secret out or something. I don't know. Hopefully they're not doing that to you. But keep trying. Monique is here. Good to see the super fan, Monique Lawrence. Good morning, everyone. Great topic, Lex. Let's go Raptors. Yeah, I'm just kind of really today is like a wild card Wednesday. And I'm just kind of on this whole idea is this is, we're about to start the end of the season. And this is kind of a place to take stock of what's going on with the team and where we are in the position we're in and going into the last stretch run of the season. And I feel real good. Everybody's healthy. We got Jakob, and we are anxious and ready to get back on the court and play against the Pelicans tomorrow night. Yeah. Fun guy saying, I was negative for the better of the team, and I still love Fred and our guys, even if I considered trading them. But top, man, my guy, just being negative to be negative, laughing my ass off, shaking my foot. I don't even see anything that he said too wrong. He's making fun of Project Truth. That's fine. Top has been controversial at times, but it's fine. Often Top is very cool, and I have no problem with them. We got to be allowances. We can't be this crazy ass cult. It's just you have to fall in line. There can be dissent. There can be a little bit of a differing opinion, especially when it's respectful. And it's somebody that we've had around with us for a while and that, I very much value. So I don't think Top's doing anything too crazy here. I mean, we'll hopefully win Top over more and more as the end of the season nears. That the results will be there. And then Top will be like, you know what? I'm starting to come around with you guys. And hopefully that's what happens. We'll have to see. Tom Duke saying the time delay should be the only thing, but Shane and I have proved to each other with pics to each other showing missing messages. YouTube does make messages vanish and so on. Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I did not know this and I was not aware and I apologize. I don't want anybody to think that I'm ignoring them. I read every single thing I can see on my screen, just so y'all know. Let's see. Does everyone need Kareem Thomas's Ignite package with Rodgers? No, I don't think so. He's just really fast for trivia. Let's see. Mike is saying Yak shooting is just the Raptors doing the Raptors and actually probably just continuing what was happening before he went to the Spurs. The mold system is about determining these areas of improvement. Sure. Sure. Well, I mean, seriously, you know what? They want to increase the value of our players. We'll give them new skills. And a new skill would be let's increase your range, Jakob. You know, it doesn't have to be 3 pointers. So the Simpson folks got to get a tattoo, but you could at least develop more of a mid range or a little bit further out, like get out to like 10, 15 feet, 20 feet, something like that. But you don't need to be all the way outside on the threes. Yeah, any improvement's always good. And we'll have to see. Let's see. Top saying Fred is the master of throwing shade. In hip hop, we call it subliminal disses. He kept stressing that him, Pascal, and Pirtle have to carry the young guys. Nah, homie, the young guys have been great. You're reading too much into that. It's just that they are very much a unit, and they are the senior guys. I'm sorry. They are proven that they can do it more than those other guys. And yeah, in some ways, they do have to carry them. Until Scotty is completely on the ground, like he's still like a little fawn, like a deer that is still finding his legs in the league. And, Fred is very savvy and experienced in high pressure clutch situations. And so is Pascal. And I mean, these guys have 7 years in the league each, and Scotty's got 1.5 years in the league. I'm sorry, bro. You can't get upset about this. They're the vets. They're the ones that should be leading the team and controlling it. Scotty, when he is old enough, will take that over. But for right now, they should be listened to, and they're the leaders. I don't get this thing. It's like, listen, this is the way the NBA has always been. Seniority matters. Experience matters. Knowing what you're doing on the court matters. And people that think that, like, yeah, there's guys that just come up and they take over and they're leaders the right way. Sure, that's very special, but that's not the case all the time. That's not common. That's very much like 1 in a million kind of stuff, like LeBron. But most of the time, these guys need to be under the tutelage of older vets for their early career, and then they blossom and become those vets themselves that take care of the guys underneath them as they get older. So that this is really, I mean, once again, I think you're doing a little bit of a Pensera kind of thing where you're looking for something with Fred. Now, if we're going to get mad at Fred, let's talk about this instead. You know what he said yesterday? He said we're talking about Pirtle. He's talking about having kids, and he's like, "Well, I have 3 kids, and Pirtle doesn't have any, so he needs to catch up." It's like, okay, Fred, all right, but I mean, listen, it's all harmless and stupid, and he is the captain. He's a leader. And it's not, he did not say that he has to carry them. He just said that we need to do a good job, the three of us, in leading this team. I've never heard the word carry. So that's a little crazy. But yeah, the young guys are great, and they're going to step up, and they're going to get their time to shine and take the game over and win the game for us and stuff like that. But once again, you can't teach experience quickly. You can't teach being a vet and learning everything over time. You have to have time accrued and in experiences of situations, and then you learn all that stuff better. And that's really, if we're talking about this, the difference is that Fred's got 7 years. He's gone to the NBA Finals and won a championship. He's won a G League championship. He's won games himself many times. He's done all kinds of different stuff. So he's not out of pocket for saying, even if he said it's totally like that. Now, see, if you're trying to bring hip hop culture and like throwing shade kind of stuff in there, well, that's stupid. There's no reason to do that. Once again, are you trying to take a little thread and like rip it and unravel everything for the Raptors? Think about what your motives are, top of top. What do you care about? Do you want them to win? Well, then shut the fuck up about that, because that's just making noise. And that is Robert kind of stuff, is what I'll say. That is Robert kind of stuff. Now, I didn't like what Mitchell did at the All-Star break on Siakam's camera, but Siakam's put it on blast on his channel. It's like the impersonation, part 4 or something like that. And Donovan is making fun of how Siakam yells every time he's down the court on offense. He's like making fun of him on his own camcorder. He's recording. I was like, Donovan, you little shit. Yeah, okay, make fun of Siakam to his face. At least he's being a bigger sport, and he doesn't think that it's bad. He thinks it's funny. Oh, okay, you're making fun of me, so I'm going to put it all over my social media and put you on blast for it. Well, Raptor fans saw it, and they probably thought like you. Oh, he's throwing shade at Siakam, subliminally, hip-hop way or whatever. That I could get pissed about that, but Siakam, he didn't view it that way. He was like, this is a guy who loves me. If imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. That's probably what Siakam's saying. Maybe in his mind, he doesn't compute it as a slight. He's just like, oh, he's trying to be like me. That's awesome. It's really how you want to perceive it, bro. If you want to perceive it in that kind of way, that this is slights and subliminal and all that kind of shit, you can read into it and find that, sure. But Siakam's looking at it as a homage, and that's my friend. And he's just like making fun. Hey, hey! He's like doing that. I had a problem with it. I got mad about it, but Siakam doesn't care. Like a duck with his water off his back. He don't give a shit. Donovan Mitchell's making fun of him on his camcorder. So I don't know, man. Listen, that's really reaching. And I don't get it, top of top. Maybe they're right about you. Smooth saying, it's good to see Smooth Brown. Man, Jakob spent the last 3 years learning from Tim Duncan. You can really see the impact. It's great. Yeah, on the down low, he did get time with contact with Tim Duncan in San Antonio, because I've seen the footage of Tim Duncan just showing up out of the blue. I guess whenever he gets that itch to be around basketball, he'll just appear from nowhere out of the darkness and say, hey, coach, can I come in and help you guys with practice today? Well, of course, Tim. Oh, yeah, come on in. And yeah, I'm sure this is totally true. There's probably been all kinds of times in the last 4.5 years that Jakob and got Tim Duncan's ear and it was able to ask him questions and get him to teach things. But regardless, think about this. The guy who taught Tim Duncan was teaching Jakob also. And I really can't stress the improvement of Jakob because of Tim Duncan and Greg Popovich being like people that were teaching him the last 4.5 years. The basketball IQ is really smart already. Well, he learns on a higher level. It's just like in school. AP students are learning harder stuff and harder subjects and more detailed shit. Well, this is the truth. It's like in some ways, Jakob's an AP student in the NBA, and that he was learning from like one of the greatest gurus and coaches in the history of the NBA, Greg Popovich. So that we can't understate the knowledge and the training that he got in San Antonio while he was gone, and how impactful it could be for our team now towards winning. So I love that comment, Smooth. Good stuff. G saying, I think some people are worried about Fred playing really well with the center. They don't want to look silly about their opinions. Why don't some fans just see how it plays out? I know this is once again where we get in these areas where people is more important to be right than the Raptors to win. Fuck y'all. I hate y'all. Y'all are fucking not fans if you're only worried about your own damn ego. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I just want them to win. But it's true. In some ways, people are kind of rooting for us to fail so they can be right about Fred. And I'm like, what the fuck? You are not fans of the team. If your ultimate goal is to be right and not for the team to do better and have success, yeah, you're selfish and you're only thinking about yourself. And yeah, I totally agree with this. There's a lot of people that probably are like hoping that this doesn't work with Fred and Jakob and all this stuff, but it's already, we know it does. We know it does. It's like you learn how to ride a bike when you're a little kid. Well, do you forget even though you don't ride a bike for 4.5 years? No, you don't. You pick that bike up and, oh, I remember how to do this. And it's all coming back. It's so easy. It's like I could ride the bike still. It's just great. Yeah, that's the same thing about playing with Jakob Poeltl. It's the same thing. Yep. Monique saying Fred was so spot on in the interview. Yeah, he was. I mean, he didn't have to take the jabs at Jakob. Maybe he hasn't found the right young lady to have children with yet. And, it's everybody's on their own timeline, Fred. Just because you're a baby machine with Shantae right there doesn't mean you need to shame him about catching up on having children. Could be Jakob's just like living that single life and he's just enjoying not having the baggage of a family around him. Everybody has different lives, Fred. But yeah, I think that his interview was really good. The thing about his interview that I love the most is he's really serious and he's very much like talking for blood. Yeah, he's saying he's ready to fucking come back and fuck a lot of teams up. And that's what he's all about right now, is winning a lot of games, going out and getting as high in the standings as possible and making noise in the postseason. That is Fred's goals right there. And you're right. He was very spot on. And I love what he was saying. G saying, wow, so Vet saying vet things is now shade. How many times has Fred complimented the youth? He said Scotty saved them, coaches gave Precious his flowers, watched the full interviews and not edited clips, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. They're going to see what they want to see. And that's what I'm trying to say about these negative people in our Raptors nation, is that they're going to just see what they want to see. It's like anything in this world. You could point all kinds of stuff out to them about the truth. But if they watch Fox News and they're already pre-programmed, they're fucked. It's like talking to a wall. Seriously, it's crazy. So I'm with you. I'm with you on this. And listen, there are different levels on this team. There are the young guys, Koloko, Gary, Scotty, Precious, and then there's the vets, Chris, Pascal, Fred, OG, Jakob. And that's just how it is. And that's just how every team should be. And back in the day, the vets were DeMar and Kyle and Jonas. And the young guys were Pascal, Fred, and Jakob. And there was a pecking order to it, even though Pascal would become all NBA and all star and all this stuff, even though Fred would become the franchise leader for single game score and an all star himself. There still was a pecking order to things. They didn't supersede Kyle and DeMar at that point. And that's just what you guys got to understand. Scotty's great in everything, but you guys just want to hand him the keys to everything and have him go irresponsibly without properly developing him and getting him matured right as a player in the league. Yeah, that's not smart. Let him be under the guidance and tutelage of Mr. Van Vliet and Mr. Siakam. Yeah. Let's see. Greg saying at top of top, hard not to be excited about Scotty, Precious, Christian, Gary, etc. The thing we have that other up and coming teams don't is a ring wearing vets. We have a great structure at the moment. Yeah, we got a little bit of everything. Greg's exactly right. We've got guys who've gotten there, and that's so important. That's why I think Cleveland fucked up when they let go of Kevin Love and let him go down to Miami. You just gave more championship IQ and smarts to the Miami Heat, who are already very rife with it, as far as the Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, and stuff like that. Yeah, real smart, Cleveland, you idiots, making Miami stronger. This trade deadline, so dumb, so dumb. What is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all? Logical saying, point proven. Real basketball thinks is Project Truth, not WWE weirdness. Because you think the young guys aren't getting enough credit? What? Your biased view of Fred has you believing and seeing nonsense. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, seriously, why is it versus? Why are y'all trying to book matches like WWF? Seriously, this isn't Fred versus Scotty, y'all. There's no card like that. There's no heel turn, Fred on Scotty. Oh, this isn't wrestling, y'all. These guys are a unit. They're a team. And you know what? Despite what you guys want to think that there's versus on this team, these guys are all very much on the same page and didn't turn on each other. There's no finger pointing, and there very well could have been at some point this season, but they tested the mettle and strength of staying together through adversity and very much times where people could have been pointing fingers left and right and turning on each other and having bad feelings. They didn't do that. No, they didn't. I'm sorry to tell you, all you people that hate Fred. Fred was a successful captain this season who held the ship together, led the team correctly, and kept everybody on the same page without turning on each other. You go talk to any single one of the Raptors, they will tell you the same damn thing. We love our captain. He did a good job. We stuck together, and we weathered this storm. And now that Jakob is here, yeah, everything's going to be fine. And everybody wanted us to be destroyed this year. All the other fan nations, all the other people around the NBA, it didn't happen. You can't fucking kill us by putting us in Tampa. You can't fucking kill us by giving us a shitty ass schedule that's all fucked up, and then we get hurt, and then you want to do a media blitz to make us think that we need to blow up our team and then you make all the fan nations start saying, oh, we got to blow up the team. Oh, we got to Wemby. That's the thing that's so amazing about this year's Raptors is that we gone through the crucible, the fire, and gotten tested and tempered in steel. And we are not crushing or melting or falling apart. We are staying steadfast and strong and on the same page. Fred was posting all-star things about Scotty and Pascal at the All-Star weekend this weekend. They all celebrate each other, and they're all for one and one for all. And anybody who thinks it's Freddie versus Scotty, motherfucker, these are shreddies. They're just like Eddie and Freddie Shreddy. They're together in the bowl of cereal. And they are not against each other, Scotty and Freddie Shreddy. They are on the same bowl of cereal, and they are ate together, and they taste so good together. So everybody who's trying to book a WWE main event, Scotty versus Freddie, just let it go. Because that problem that you think is between them, it doesn't exist. And y'all are crazy. And I don't know why y'all think that it's like a throne, like it's a king, and like, oh, Fred's sitting on the throne as the leader. He's not. It's not like that. He's a captain. He's very giving. In fact, to be the captain, you have to be very giving. You have to be selfless. It's the best way to be a captain. If your captain isn't selfless, then your fucking team is not going to have a good leadership. Well, our leader is a selfless person, and it is a characteristic that bleeds down into every single one of the Raptors, because that's what a leader does. They show how to be. And Fred is selfless. And that's the thing that the Fred haters just don't want to admit, is that he's a selfless person, not a selfish person. He's selfless. He doesn't do it for himself. He's doing it for the team and for winning. And until y'all realize that, I don't know how to get it through your thick skull that you don't understand who he is as a person. You have very much mischaracterized him. And you know what? That's your damn fault. You are the one who has the problem. It's not the reality of the situation of who he is and how they operate as a team and his leadership and as a captain. So there you go. Bam, 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 bam. Oh. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's see. Duke Rocks is saying, I hope Jakob is that magical addition that stabilizes our rotation. In my opinion, the talent is there for us to make a run in the playoffs, hoping we mesh before the playoffs start. Yeah, that really is going to be a lot of what we do on this stretch run is just to develop more meshing and really feeling good about the connection with Jakob and the guys and just working it all out. And really, some of the stuff that Nick does earlier in the season with discovery, he's going to have to do a little bit late into the season just because Jakob just recently showed up. But it really is kind of fine tuning who we are as an identity and what's working really well and really like getting it going by the end of the year. So, but there is going to be a little bit of experimentation with things because Jakob's so new back. That we may be seeing some kind of like weird stuff that would normally go on at the beginning of the season when Nick comes out of training camp and he's trying to try new things. So that'll be interesting as far as that. But they're going to try and stabilize, as you say, and make it just more like normal and regular and what's expected as far as rotations and minutes and what the new roles are with Jakob in the lineup now. And that may be partly like displacing some of the starters into the bench, which will improve our bench production. So once again, the ripples of Jakob's presence on this team is fixing another huge problem and void on our team. And that is a poor bench. We will have a better bench going forward for the rest of the year, just because Jakob will start at center. I'm pretty positive that's going to be the case. And that means that probably Precious and Gary are going to be coming off the bench, and that's just going to make our bench way better. So he's fixing a lot of problems, whether it's not having a big man or not having a bench. He fixes both of them. So it's going to be really good. It's going to be really, really good, Duke. I'm really looking forward to it for sure. For sure. Tom's saying Fred's stats proven his worth. Lucky to have such a mature and grounded leader. Once again, there's certain people in our fan nation that don't like him and don't want him on this team, but there are so many other fans of other teams around this league that love and respect him and lust to have him in their jersey of their team. And what is the disconnect here? Well, I think there's been a very successful propaganda campaign in the Raptors nation to sully and go against Fred. And that is part of the problem is that everybody's just echoing a lot of stupid shit that dumbass is saying and on it, he who shall not be named channel. And that's just a lot of the problem. All right, let's see what's top has to add to this. At Clink, the structure is better. Yes. Is the ceiling that much higher? No, not really. The last two playoffs tell the true story. It's the great equalizer. The last two playoffs. Well, the playoff from before, we didn't make it. We were in Tampa. And then last year, we had injuries. And I honestly, if we had handicapped the fully healthy Toronto Raptors versus the Sixers last season, we would have beat them in the first round. They had to do a little bit of a ref hit job and also have injuries happen, or we would have beat them. Honestly, we would have beat the Sixers last year. We just had some bad luck. And this is how it all adds up. You got to be good enough. You have to have some luck, and you have to be healthy to win a championship. That all those things kind of have to go in your favor. And if they don't, you can get derailed. And that's really what happened to us last year. Listen, the structure is way better. The ceiling is way higher. Yeah, it is. And top, if you want to be pessimistic and be a negative Raptor fan, well, you can go ahead. I might start giving you strikes. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Our ceiling is very high. And it has to do with these guys that you're championing, Precious and Scotty. As they get better, we're going to become a very overpowering, dominant team in this league. And if you can't see that Scotty can make a leap and a bound as a superstar in this league, or even Precious, and that will make us an even other level as far as like how good we are. We're already a top Eastern Conference team. When Scotty and Precious wake up to full superstar powers, we will be one of the top, if not the top Eastern Conference team in this league. And if you don't understand how players within our system that are only here, you're one of these people that think our core is mid and we're never going to go anywhere and we don't have good enough players, you're wrong. You're wrong. You just don't understand how development can have leaps and bounds within it and make the team that much better on top. So yeah. All right, maybe these guys are right about you. I don't know. I don't understand why you're so negative. Why you gotta be so negative, top? Come on. We have Jakob Sunshine, and everything should be great in Raptors Nation. Why are you guys such Debbie Downers, like Rachel Dratch on Saturday Night Live? Oh well, those old Saturday Night Live sketches with Rachel Dratch, Debbie Downer. She'd be like, say something, but the diamonds are paid for in blood. MSJ saying it, Greg, I think yes, but also I felt that entering this year, they were our true competition in terms of team development. Then they got Mitchell, and now I want to beat them more. I've never thought that Cleveland is really honestly a championship contender this year. See, this is what they do to us. I'm going to do it to them. I think they're full of shit. I don't think they have any legs for it. I think that they're offensive team. They're not good at defense, and they're going to get fucked up in the playoffs. And this is also a reason why we're going to do better in the playoffs than people think, because we're defensive oriented, and that is what suits the playoffs. Cleveland going to get in some physical battles. They're going to fucking fold. We get in some physical battles. We're going to stand up, and we're going to rise up. And that's what I'm saying. That's the difference right there. I have no faith in Cleveland. If you tell me who the top teams in the East are, I won't put Cleveland in there. The top three teams in the East are Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Boston, and the Toronto Raptors. But nobody wants to say that. Nobody knows that. But that's the damn truth with the paper we got now with Pirtle on there. That's right. Let's see. Fiercely saying others not paying attention to us. They'd rather display Patrick Beverly bragging he will knock the Lakers off the playoffs or Westbrook rivalry. It's okay. Let them sleep on us. Rude awakening coming. That's exactly right. Fiercely Salsera, Scotty Barnes, Twitch family. That is exactly right. And this has been a way we've done this for like over a decade. They've always counted us out. They've always never put us as a contender, and we've rose up and met expectations and exceeded them. And then they're like, whoa, the Raptors are way better. Well, y'all keep fucking miscalculating and not really like giving us the right due for our team as a franchise. You keep making that same mistake. That's just you. You're foolish, because we are serious. We're very serious. And go ahead, sleep. Put shine on everything else going on around the league and forget about that big Austrian who came north. And now that rude awakening will come, just like a Rick Rude awakening. Yes. All right. Space Cadet saying, thanks for confirming. I did send a few messages before that one, and they got filtered out for some reason. That's weird. And I don't even have the top chat on. I have it saying live chat, and it should show every single one. I hate to hear that, Space Cadet. And YouTube, get your shit together. I don't need no censor here. You go ahead and put all them comments in there. I'll read them all. Let's see. Tom Duke is a thumbs up. And then Greg saying at MSJ, we're brothers in this. Cavs are real. Last year, when people were throwing shade on the Cavs, I watched a lot of games. Same this year. Cavs are uniquely constructed in tough matchups. They're not our fucking brothers, Greg. Fuck that shit. Don't be like fucking S and have like a little like fan crush on the Cavs also. Fuck that team. I wish every fucking horrible thing on that team. That fucking, yeah, no, they're our rival, Greg. No, there's no peace in this shit. I'm sorry. I can't say they're our brothers. Fuck that shit. The more, you know which team's more our brother is Milwaukee. Fuck that shit. Cleveland is not. Cleveland's been a golden boy and given like first picks 2 years in a row because LeBron left. There's all kinds of bullshit that Cleveland has gotten treated nicely by the NBA, just like Boston at times. No, team that's like us is Milwaukee, a team that's won a championship against the odds in a small market that the NBA did not want to win. They want Cleveland to win that championship. They want Cleveland to be good. They don't want us to be good. And they don't want Milwaukee to be good. And Milwaukee's our brother. If any team in the East is our brother, it's them. It's not Cleveland, because they have more in common with us than Cleveland does. Fuck Cleveland, man. I can't believe, Greg, you're a Cleveland liker? Fuck that shit. I can't in some ways, it really bugs me. Raptor fans that are Cleveland fans also. I don't like that at all. I really don't. But you go ahead. You guys want to have a secondary team that you like or you respect or you like. Fuck that. It's not for me, Cleveland. I fucking hate Cleveland. So you can go ahead and like Cleveland, but not me. Fuck that team. Banana Bread Tan saying, having a big man like Pirtle is so unheralded. He facilitates the inside game so well. Precious at the 4 with him is going to be nasty offensively and defensively. It's unheralded for us, for sure. It's just that we've had such a struggle in the paint with that position in different ways. And a lot of that's going to be alleviated. And that's the other thing that people don't understand. We've had to work so hard to compensate for the lack of a big man, that a lot of that energy and work that's put into that area can be diverted to other things and better things in offense and different things as far as energy. OG's can come back and he doesn't have to be a muscle man down low with every big guy. he can actually have some energy to get up and down the court and maybe score more because of that. So there's a whole bunch of ripple effects about this. G. St. Zion in another video said his favorite away cities are Dallas, New York, and Toronto. Yeah, everybody loves coming to Toronto. Why not? I mean, seriously, they go to Salt Lake City and they can go look at mountains, and that's it. And then like go to bed. Shaq said he got a lot of room service over All-Star weekend. Shaq said. I mean, I don't know what that nightlife is like in Salt Lake City. No, Toronto's a very, very fun city for NBA players to come and play in when on the road trip and the visit here. Yeah, yeah. And, of course, SGA says, I love playing in Toronto the most. And everybody's like, we need to get SGA. Well, of course he loves playing back here at home in front of family and friends and stuff like that. Lion Hunter is here, one of my favorites. Always hunting the truth. Lion Hunter hunts the lions. And he also goes into social media and takes down the big game idiots. They're talking negative about our team. How is it throwing shade to suggest the veterans who have won a championship have to carry the young players down the stretch into the playoffs? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Oh, my gosh. Sometimes I feel like young people just don't like being told what to tell, and they see it in like another place on TV. I'm like, man, I feel like Scotty. All these old heads trying to tell me how to live my life. I just want to live my life. I know how to live my life. Don't tell me how to live my life. So they identify with the young person, and they're like, these fucking old vets don't need to be telling me what to do. I think that's part of it. Is this young moxie that they don't need old veteran leadership. Yeah, I think that's part of it. They're identifying with the whole situation, and they feel like they're Scotty. Maybe they have an older brother. His name's Fred. He's like, you, Scott, you need to clean your room and listen to mom. I'm like, I don't listen to you. I have my own life. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. MSJ saying, I like the Cavs team and even the city, but sport is sport. Would be a great win for a team. Yeah. You know what? I don't like Cleveland. The only thing I like about Cleveland is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's the coolest thing in Cleveland. Everything else about Cleveland sucks. Let me tell you. And that whole state, too. I don't like the state of Ohio. It's a fucking piece of shit. And, yeah, I've never liked Ohio. And I'm telling you, the Cleveland Cavaliers fan nation really hates us. They really hate Toronto fans, and they hate Toronto, the team. So I don't understand this whole, turn the other cheek and be nice to them. I'll be on the other side. You guys can be nice and be Canadians towards them, but not me, because I see the venom and the ugliness that they're coming at us with from their end. And I'm not a fan of that team. I've always hated that team, and I don't understand. It was even before LeBronto, I hated that team too. So I just don't get it. You guys can like it and kind of be like, oh, that's a cool combination of guys together, and that's neat what they're doing and respect it. But I hate them so much myself personally. It can be differences. Everybody can have their own opinions on other teams. It's fine, except for Boston. Let's see. Logical saying, top, narrow view much? I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I know how it plays out. It's pointless. No matter what facts are said, you don't like Fred. If you could understand, that's just your opinion. Well, that's what I'm going to say. Once again, everybody who hates Fred, get ready to have Fred for life. And y'all can be haters. So maybe go root for Cleveland or go root for other teams just because Fred never leaves. And you're like, well, damn it, they're not listening to me. So I hate the Raptors because my own ego's tied into this Fred thing. And if Fred's not gone, I can't watch the Raptors anymore because they're not listening to me about getting rid of him. Well, get ready to be upset and be like that because he's probably going to sign a contract for 4 years after this summer. And you're going to be mad because he's going to be around for more years, y'all. So everybody who hates Fred, get ready to be disappointed and upset because Fred is still our captain. And he's going to still be around. He said he wants to be a Raptor for life. Masai said he wants him on the team. Well, that's what's going to happen. And it doesn't matter what you want because you're not going to get what you want. Is what I'm going to say. Duke's saying the last time it took to a primary player from the Spurs, we won a chip. The last time we got a primary player from and that's what I'm saying. Duke, we signed Jakob Poeltl to a 4-year contract this summer or something like that. We will win a championship within that contract that is signed. That is a prediction I'm going to make right now on this Raptor Free channel that we signed Jakob to a multi-year deal this summer. And within that contract, we are going to win our second Larry O'Brien here in Toronto. Watch. I'm going to say that right now. David's saying, well, we did, but it's not clear they're exactly comparable. In some ways, I understand what you're saying, David, as far as with Kawhi and Jakob. But in some ways, you may be shocked how comparable they can be in some ways. Now, part of it may be, listen, the makeup of that Raptors team was so vet and so experienced and really was ripe to go and get that championship with that collection of guys. It may be that our fruit on our team right now is not exactly ripe yet. And we might have to season it and let it develop a little bit. Like I said, rise up with Scotty and Precious with their talent rising, and just the steadiness of the leaders on top. That yeah, we could get a higher ceiling, and then we ripen to the point where we become an NBA champion again. But him being in the mix and him filling such a void, it's almost like you could say Kawhi filled these voids for us when he came. Well, in some ways, Jakob fills just as important voids in some ways. And the voids that Kawhi filled are not necessarily needed to be filled at this point. That like the defensive stuff is really OG and like different people. And the scoring stuff that Kawhi did, well, that could be also stepped into by different people like Pascal or Scotty. So it's not exactly the same, but there are ways to compare it. And I think that it's an astute observation by Duke that in some ways these are franchise players. Like Pirtle is not a franchise player in the same way as Kawhi, but he is a franchise player because he's a big center, and that is kind of a franchise piece. So it's kind of like that. Fun guy saying, loving Lex's energy this morning. You might have to stick to sativa to maintain this energy. I've been the opposite with no basketball. My days have been mentally draining. I hate to hear that, fun guy. I'm not actually happy with what I got right now. I've got some strain called Lucky Charms. It's a hybrid. It's 50-50. And when I smoke indica, I get a little depressed. So I have been a little bit more edgy just because of what I got recently. I'm not totally happy with it. In fact, I think I might call my guy and see if I can get it switched out for something else. But we don't need to be talking about my cannabis, but I guess we are today. Yeah, I don't know. My energy is I went to bed early because I know I got a lot to do today and I wanted to be in good shape. And I'm a little indignant and upset because this Fred stuff has continued. It's like it's not so unnecessary at this point to go after Fred over and over again. All right, Greg's continuing to at people. It's really annoying. But anyway, discourse isn't discourse top of top without dissenting ideas being explored. As long as you are ready to celebrate with everyone in postseason, I'm cool. Even Rob is out from under his rain cloud now. I don't care what Pencer is doing. Listen, people are going to be people. Some people are lost causes. Some people will act like they didn't drag us along. We had to drag them behind with our positivity, and then we get to something good, and then they'll act like, yeah, I believed the whole time. No, you didn't, motherfucker. And we have receipts, and we listened to you in the chat, and we saw your comments and shit on Facebook and Twitter. That's the difference. We want to stay strong and believe in them the right way and not be like part of the noise and the negativity. And at the end, yeah, you're going to probably come out and say, I believed in them. And I'm like, no, you didn't, motherfucker. I remember what you were saying and how you said this and this and this. That's the difference. And that's kind of what I'm saying. And I don't even believe these guys when they say they're going to be happy when we're successful. I don't think half these guys will be. Because that's not ultimately what they want. They don't care if the Raptors win or not. A lot of these people in Raptors Nation, they just care about being right. I'm serious. And in some ways, there's Raptor fans that they're very cynical. They don't believe we have realistic chances to win the championship. They're the kind of person that I come up to them and say, you know what, the Raptors should be a dynasty by 2035. They'll laugh at me because they'll be like, there's no chance, Lex. Oh, just because you believe it'll happen. Well, that's the first way you get stuff to happen is believe it and allow room in the realm of possibility for it to happen. Then it has space to actually fill into to happen. If you're just a closed-minded person, you say, oh, it can't happen. It can't happen. Well, you're limiting your belief. And in some ways, that may be limiting your belief in other areas of your life. And you're not doing as much with your life as you thought you could just because you've told yourself you can't. So this is what I'm saying. This is a part of the whole thing. And some Raptor fans will want to be right for the rest of their life that, well, they're never going to win another championship. So get whatever. And they will stick to that. And in some ways root against us winning the championship. And some of them are very much Leaf fans more and they're Raptor fans secondary. And it has something to do with the way they root for the Leafs also. So yeah, there's some people that are like frenemy fans. They're not really like for the Raptors actually winning, but they are from Toronto and they want to root for the team and they feel like they have to because it's hometown. But their motives and how deep they actually root for them in a positive way is very shallow, actually. So it's an interesting phenomenon that I've noticed since the beginning of the franchise. And, our fan nation did not respect the team because we were taught by the NBA to not respect the team. And that's part of the whole lingering problem of what's going on with this now is that people are just trained and conditioned to not believe or trust our team because the NBA is gaslighting us. So there you go. Randolph saying, blessings, beloved, Raptor freaks, most informative gang. Thursday can't come soon enough. Missed the game. I know, Randolph, I'm in the same place. So much in the same place. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Lion Hunter saying, to be honest, he shall not be named another hater. Seem like they are pro playoffs now, but they will jump on the Raptors like the minute they get eliminated and claim they were right all along. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And wow, okay, you're saying something I was saying way ahead of y'all. Well, it's great. You should listen to me more, motherfuckers that are haters. Yeah, maybe you get more in line with what we're doing here. Get in the car, no questions. Just shut up. David's saying, I don't think a differing opinion warrants ad hominem attacks. I'm not actually referring to anything. I just wanted to sound smart. I don't know. I didn't attack you. Did I attack you, David? I don't think I did. Did anybody else attack you? I know you were replying to Duke as far as like Kawhi and Jakob. I was just trying to explain how they could be the same impact. I apologize if I insulted you. I don't think I did say anything to you in that kind of way, though. But yeah, I will attack people that are negative towards my team and sullying it. Yeah, I will. That's part of what I'm doing. This is my job description. Fuck that. They're gonna have ugly energy coming at us. I'm the ugly energy going the other way in the support and on standing on the Raptors side. So yeah, I'll stoop to their level. I'm an idiot. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should be above it. But you know what? I feel like I should be a counterforce, and that's what I'm doing. Jimmy saying, "Morning, Raptor freaks. Full stream ahead or full steam ahead. Baby, pour on the Dubs. 100%. I love it. Popa positivity coming in. He's ready to get that pitcher of Dubs and just pour it into the glass and get a whole nice, good, juicy drink of W's. He's been so thirsty for them, and we got to quench that thirst." Mike is saying, F ego, Raptors truth is pure. That's right. See, I wouldn't be acting like a fool if I had an ego on here, if I cared. If I cared that much about my ego, I wouldn't be a clown on here. But I don't care. I can make a fool of myself. I can be wrong. I can be all those kind of things. And I have no problem with it. Do these people, are they the same? I don't know. They may have more invested in their ego as far as how they feel about themselves, if they're wrong or not. Oh my gosh, I'm wrong. It's like, whatever. I can be wrong all the time, but I'd rather be wrong that I thought that they were going to be so successful and so positive about it. I'd rather be wrong in that way than be wrong in the way that they're going to be wrong eventually. And that's what I'm saying. Fun guy saying, actually, I think Fred is out of the norm with 3. Laugh out loud. I'm same age and haven't even thought of kids. And I imagine it's tough for a 7'1" guy to find someone to pop out kids at 28. Laugh out loud. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I listen, I mean, Jakob is a little goofy. He may be worried about gold diggers too. These NBA guys got to worry about women that just want to love them for their money and stuff like that. And it may be that he's like being very like that's not his priorities is to try and find a mate, a girlfriend, and start having a family. Maybe he's just enjoying being a young guy and being single and having fun. Siakam, he's just as old too, and he is nowhere near getting a kid either. So it's like, I don't know. Fred's just like this. I don't know. He is very much not the norm in some ways. A lot of people delay having their first child these days. And yeah, that's not totally normal having 3 kids like Fred does at this point. I know there are a lot of people that do also. I could get into sociology of all this. This is something I actually study in grad school, fertility and how many kids you have and at what ages and stuff like that. But it's really nothing we should talk about on here to depth. And it's not really that interesting in some ways. Mike's saying Lex cooking on Fred today. I love Fred. Listen, I love Fred. Listen, he should be a little cocky, a little arrogant. Maybe he rubs you the wrong way because of the way he's a little cocky. I love that. We need that swagger. We need that kind of juice on our team. And anybody who can't see that and hates him because of that, well, whose side are you on? He's our dude. We should want him to be cocky and have some swagger and have a little personality to him like that. If he didn't have that, he may not be as effective as an NBA player. So if he can control it and it's not a detriment or toxic on the team, there's no problem with it. There's no problem with it on this team. That's what I'm saying. Mike's saying facts. When the young guys get to a point with the starters too, that's a great team and the money spent is solid. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We want them to meet up and become more vet and take more of the leadership role and taking over as time goes on, but within good time. Once again, I think one of the biggest problems with Raptors Nation is we don't have any patience. Y'all are fucking so impatient. You want everything so now. Things develop. Things take time. Things need to be patient, like Masai Ujiri. and allow Scotty to grow into the role that he's going to become over the years. He's not going to be like right now. You got to wait and allow things to develop and happen over time. You guys want it so bad, so quick, and you want results now. And that's why you're like, well, we just got to get Fred out of there so that we can Scotty get results right now. That's not the way it works, you idiots. So just listen to us, please. All right, here's Greg. Now he's talking to Lion Hunter. Dude, bank on that response for sure. Nonetheless, the experience this team goes through together will inch is closer to Larry, regardless of outcome. Skill needs culture. Culture needs skill. Either way, the Raptors, if they don't have total success, well, they have a good main system and structure, and a lot of the right parts are involved already. They tinker with it later. Like if we get to a certain level, it's very much like with Kyle and DeMar. We got to certain levels in the playoffs with them and Casey, and we tinkered with it, and then boom, we tinkered with it just a little bit, and boom, we get the championship in 2019. So this core and what we're building, the structure, it may be in some people's minds is there's no ceiling high enough to get a championship with this team. Well, it may be kind of true. And at some point, it may be that we do one big last move, like a Marc Gasol move. It won't be the center, obviously, because we already got it, but it'll be another player that will add it to it and just put us over the top. And that's what I'm saying. They got to allow flexibility within the structure of the main, general idea of what we're doing to switch guys in later on that will put us over the top eventually. So that's what I'm saying. There's a couple ways we can do this. We can rely on just Scotty and Precious and other young guys coming up and making us better, Koloko, or at the right time, we can make a Marc Gasol type move that just is the last piece that puts us over the top. So there's a couple ways this could happen. Smooth saying a big issue with the Fred discourse is context. Some people forget that Fred has to take those shots because others were not making them. I would argue that the hate on Pascal is more so than Fred. Both of them get the hate in a similar way to what Smooth's saying here. Is that part of the problem is these guys are the guys that have to put their nuts on the line in situations in the game, in clutch situations. And once again, some of our fans are very connected to the team where they feel it and they feel the pain of the failure. And they look at the person that was the failure on the team and they say that they made them feel that failure and they hate it. So they turn on them and they're like, I don't want to feel this pain of failure anymore. Well, these guys are the guys who have the balls to try and take these shots, win or lose. And every single team has to have these guys. And every single team doesn't have perfect guys that make every single fucking clutch shot and do not fail. There's always going to be a certain level of failure on every single team with their important leaders and taking big shots at the end of the game. And this is why Raptor fans are idiots, is that you do not understand somebody's got to take the big shots and they're not going to make them all the time. And that this is part of the game, the failure of losing games sometimes because guys don't make the big shots. But at least these guys have the guts to take them. And at least they have a pretty good track record of being successful with them also. So that's really part of it is that they don't like the pain of the failure and they look at the scapegoat and they point the finger at him. That's what it is. It's exactly what it is. But somebody's got to take those damn shots, and it doesn't matter who it is. You could have Scotty taking those shots, and you will have the same phenomenon happen. Y'all will start hating Scotty because he failed and missed those big shots in the end of games. Yep, it will happen with every single one of them. It doesn't matter. You can insert any of the names. If they have the balls to take the big shots at the end of the game, they fail. Some Raptors Nation will turn on them just because they don't want to feel the failure with them. Jimmy's saying, Fred is a GOAT. Remember that big balls taunt last year had me crying. At the end of the day, we're lucky to have him. Screw the haters. We are so lucky to have him. He's a once in a lifetime kind of generational player. The path of him and where he came from and his makeup and his story is not common. It is very rare. And we don't understand this enough. We really don't take him we take him lightly for who he is and the substance of what he's done and who he is. And I hate that. And that's why I'll overdo it the other way. It's like, put respect on this man's name. He's a champion at every level and really is a good player. And most of the league wants him on their team. Logical saying, people need to understand us playing small ball for so long with the best able guys, you get a great map of what small ball can do and can't do, which if another team comes at us with small ball, we got it. Greg has something on one of his pieces recently talking about all the isolation work we've done in the last couple of years is going to really pay off. Because in some ways we don't have to do that anymore, but we learned how to do it and we got really good at it and it's accumulated skills. And I so agree with Greg when he was talking about that. As far as the ISO ball will be important, even though we don't have to rely on it, it will be helpful down the road. And I agree with this. The small ball, all the things we learn from doing that kind of stuff will still help and inform us with a big man now. And it'll all help in the long run. It really, really will. Line Hunter saying Cleveland has a crap record against all the good teams. They're fool's gold once again. Yeah, I can see right through a team when they're a pretender or not. And I've never thought they were good. Everybody saw that move and they just anointed them like a new Eastern power. I'm like, motherfucker, that once again in this league, nothing should just be granted or given. They have to earn it. And they have to prove it first. And like the NBA media machine wants to make them a top Eastern team. Well, they didn't prove it yet. You can give it to them already? Well, I don't believe it. And in some ways, I will go against people for just accruing and say, oh, Cleveland is just automatically good because they got Donovan Mitchell. Well, in some ways, you're right. But in some ways, are they good in the way that matters to win a championship? I don't know. I don't think so. I really don't. I have no faith in them in the playoffs. I really don't. Clink's saying, sorry, Lex, not trying to annoy you. What's the issue with the app? Well, Greg, I've said this a couple times to you in recent streams. You're talking to the other people in the chat. You should be sending questions to me. And if you want to have conversations with them, get them on Messenger and go talk to them on your own that way. I don't mind you atting with people. It's just that every single comment is that, and it's with different people. This really is a two-way with me. You want to have a two-way with those guys, go somewhere else and do it. It's just that I have a hard time reading your conversation with other people. It's not good copy for me to read in the comments, is basically what I'm saying. But if you want to do that and continue to do it, it's fine. I'll read them. But at a certain point, I might just skip your comments because you're having a conversation with other people, is what I'm saying. Raymond's saying, Ray's Farm, the only weeds you will ever need. Some all-time faves I grow are OG Kush, Girl Scout cookies, Juicy Fruit, Pineapple Express. I like Girl Scout cookies. Maybe I should talk to you, Raymond. Can I buy directly from you? Because I would like to maybe change my dealer. I may need to start talking to you. I think I might need to start talking to Raymond Jacob. I think that this is actually going to solve a problem that I've had this week with talking about things. Girl Scout cookies is actually my go-to. And I don't know why he didn't sell me the Girl Scout cookies. He gave me Lucky Charms this time. So, yeah. It's that. Yeah. All right, Raymond, I'm going to be messaging you after this. I got to get in touch with you. Do I have your phone number? I've got to figure out if I've got your phone number or not. I'm going to have to figure that out. Mike's saying, Masai builds a system of acquiring info and utilizing it in every fashion possible. So the input info comes from scouts and stats and motion cam technology. We use the info to make logical choices to W. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Like a lot of his decisions are very much probably analytically based from stats and trends. You probably add in the psychological stuff with looking at players and character assessing them. And then you add in like the ideas of like what are potential ceilings or what are potential growth in the player for development. And then you got to really look at the aptitude and the willingness and like the IQ and the being able to do that. And some guys just aren't going to learn or get any better. Some guys come in the league and you can kind of tell already, like this guy he's not going to learn anymore. He's just where he is. It's going to be where he is. And that's it. And that's kind of like what you got to look at and suss out. I think that's so right. MSJ saying, my advice humbly is to totally ignore the person who I can't name. There is something there that needs to be avoided in life as a Raps fan. Yeah, I've said this. And like, that's why we have the swear jar. And I apologize if I brought him up first in this chat. But once again, my chats are way better when he does not come up at all. And there's days where he comes up and there's days that he doesn't. And I enjoy those days when he doesn't. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. And Greg, really what it is that's why I have the 5-minute delay is because earlier when I didn't have the delay, there was too much in talking between people. And when I get to that section of the comments, it was Mike, first of all, not to put him on blast, but Mike was very much having his own ongoing conversations with other people in the chat. And some of it wasn't even related to what we were talking about. So part of the reason why I have the time delay is to not encourage in chat between chatters. It's really like that. That's part of the reason why. So Mike's saying the bar is that when skill has culture and culture has skill, the Spurs got the bar high. We got it up there in 2019, and now we're building it this time with way more information on how to do it. Yeah, I could see that's totally true. Well, we have more experience and we know what worked the first time, and maybe we can replicate some of it in some ways. I don't know. I think that there really are. We're moving towards the championship quicker than the rest of the NBA would like to think. And that once again, we got to do it in the shadows and kind of not on blast. And over time, they will realize more and more. David saying the documentary "Grind Now, Shine Later" is really good. TSN, Chris Boucher. Yeah, I watched it. It was very good. I love the interviews with his mother. His mom did not want to do that. Apparently, it's funny on the last Chris Boucher. He talked hustle play. He talked about how it was really hard to get his mother to agree to appear on camera for that documentary. That she did not want to do it at all, but they really enticed her to do it. She didn't want to do it. She really didn't. Let's see. Space Cadet saying YouTube trying to silence me because I called Pensera a donkey on his last stream. This injustice cannot be tolerated. We'll just keep putting them in and just change what you're saying a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I should change it so that you can. I don't know. I got to figure this out. You know what? I could try something real quick, and because I really like you, let's see if this helps you. I'm going to make you a moderator, and let's see if you have any trouble getting censored anymore. Like they shouldn't be censoring my mods. So let's see. I want, especially if you're coming after he who shall not be named. I want to see your burns and stuff like that. I don't want you to be censored for that. I love to read some of that stuff. Yeah. Mike saying tons of factors are involved in it. Greg saying my apologies if you explained the at stuff before. I've never heard you say it before. Consider me reformed. You do an amazing job with chat. My intent was only to the forum to create here. It's all good, Greg. And I know I thought I'd said it to you, but yeah, that's why I was getting frustrated. I'm not angry at you or anything. It's just I was like, he's not listening to me. So I guess you didn't hear me. That's all good, man. And you know what? I don't mind a little bit of ads. It's just that every single one of your comments is adding somebody else. And I'm like, dude, give me a question. But it is true. You guys can talk between each other. I don't want to be too controlling. It's just it was an issue at one point, and that's why I kind of changed things in some ways. But no, seriously, you guys can counterpoint each other in there, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know how to make the rule exactly right. It's just if there's too much of it all the time, then I'll kind of point somebody out. But if you want to do an ad at somebody every once in a while, there's nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Tom saying, "Bahaha, Space Cadet. He's a penguin." Yeah. All right. You guys got. He's got the hammer now, so Space Cadet can freely chat and say whatever he wants. Shane saying, Lex, you really should skip comments that have at addressing someone. It's a waste of your time, buddy. Time is valuable, and some of those comments are ridiculous. Just a suggestion to save your time. I appreciate that, Shane, and that's what I've thought about doing. It's all good. Jason's laughing. Jason Williams, you go. I'd love to see your name in here again. I remember you popped up a couple weeks ago. All right, so we're at the end of the chat. Let me just go over everything just real quick, and then we'll get out of here. The 905 are playing at Windy City at 8 o'clock tonight, so catch that 905 game. As I said, Delano and the two ways are there, but Koloko is actually still here in Toronto with the team. So he won't be in action with them against Chicago's G League team. Tyler Merkovich, Marcy Williams, and RJ Johnson are our refs for that game. I'm looking at the Raptors 905 in the standings, and they're 9-8. Now, they really do need to get as high above 500 as possible because there's very few teams in the G League that get into the playoffs. It's not like half the league gets in. So you really got to be in the top third of the G League. So they really got to get some traction going in this stretch run with their season if they want to be in the postseason. Because they will not be in the postseason with their record right now. They're going to have to get into the top 4 or 3 of the Eastern Conference in the G League. So get working there. We need you to get going, guys. Let's see. Okay, just NBA news and notes. The Hawks have fired Nate McMillan. This was something that we kind of could have portended earlier in the season. This really shows that the Hawks probably will be in free fall in the standings in the Eastern Conference. I don't know who they're going to get. I don't know if it'll be an improvement. They could be really a dumpster fire for the rest of the season. Trae Young is chasing coaches out of Atlanta one after another. Lloyd Daniels and now Nate McMillan. They are on their 4th coach in like a very short period of time, and they're not getting any continuity built there. Well, it didn't work. Nate McMillan and Trae Young did not get along, and now he's out of his job there. Well, that sucks. I don't know. I think Atlanta's a mess, and I expect them to fall below us and be, in the play-in for sure this year. So David's saying having a couple overpaid players doesn't make you a super team. Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah. People want Raymond Jacobs weed, obviously. I like that. Let's see. Space Cadet saying mod status unlocked. Let's go. Yeah, you get it because you're funny, and I don't want you being Okay, yeah, and on the ESPN front page, as G's saying, it is saying that Bronny will be in the top 10 of next year's draft class in 2024. Little King is ready to reign. Well, it'd be really interesting to see if LeBron is going to go to the team that Bronny gets drafted by. Let's see. Logical saying YouTube does this weird thing. If someone reports you through chat, YouTube adds a higher chat filter, and especially in the chat you got reported in. It's based on amount of reports that shadow bans. Interesting. Okay, well, this is good to know. Listen, if anybody is having any trouble with their chat messages not going through, I know David said this at some point. Tell me, and maybe we'll try different things. Like maybe I will try mod some more people. The other thing about being a mod is you're not on the 5 minute delay. You can type in as quickly as you want over and over again. And maybe that'll be partly how I can make it so if you're a trusted member of this group, that you can chat as much as you want. You can earn the wrench status and have mod powers. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Monique saying news and notes for you all. March 16th is Filipino Heritage Night with Rise Tribe. Let's go Raptors. Keep at it, Lex. Thank you, Monique. That's cool. That's cool. So hopefully Ron Harper Jr. will be called up for that game and get to play in it, being half Filipino himself. That would be really good. To have him there. That'd be cool. Greg saying, laugh out loud. At 1,000 subs, you can sell Raymond Sweet Reefer on here. That would be hilarious. Very convenient. You know what? That actually could be a side project. Y'all, you want Raymond, help me get to 1,000 so I can help you sell weed. Come on, Raymond. Fiercely saying, if LeBron stays and plays in the same team as his son, will it be the first time a father-son duo plays together? I'm trying to think of this. We know in baseball we had the Griffies. Griffey Sr. and Griffey Jr. did play together in Seattle at one point. I'm trying to think. Off the top of my head, there may be somebody earlier in the very early history of the NBA that this may have happened, but I don't think this has happened ever. Because most of the time, these guys have retired before the kid's old enough. Because you got to think about it. First of all, they have the kid. They have to have it very young. And then, they have to play for like 20 years, like LeBron is doing, to be able to be old enough for them to come around. And LeBron is very much an exception for all kinds of things. It's not like Kareem had a kid who came. And that's the other thing. It's got to line up. The kid's got to be good enough to make it. So, no, I don't think this has ever happened, Fiercely. I'm trying to think of it. I don't think it has. There's a lot of second generation players, but they all usually show up after their dad's retired. I may have to do a little research on this afterwards just to make sure, but I don't think there is. I don't think there has been. This may be the first time this happens, and this may be part of the reason why LeBron wants to do it. Be like the Griffies in baseball. Cool Cat saying, folks are forgetting we develop ISO skills in our players because ISO skills are needed for the playoffs for chip run. Lots of ISO skills were used. Yeah, and that's what Greg was saying on his piece on Jubstown Clink, is that this isolation stuff will be coming in very handy in playoff situations, obviously. Siakam can try and beat 4 guys during the regular season. He very well might have to do it in the playoffs also, for sure. All right, and then one real quick thing. I've got Thad Young on his Instagram, and he's obviously on a plane coming back from Toronto, but he's got a double chocolate brownie cookie, vegan, gluten-free on the plane, and he says, always great to see our portfolio partners active on America Air. So he's basically like putting shine that he owns part of the company that gave the cookies on the plane. It's like he's part of his portfolio, the cookies that he got on the airplane. So he's like, yeah, it's crazy what Thad has investment in. He is an investor in that video game group that has Fall Guys on it, that Scotty plays on. He actually owns part of that game that Scotty plays on. It's crazy. David's saying half of mine don't go through, or you just don't read most of them. I read every single one. So if I'm not reading it, it did not get through, David, just so you know. All right, I'm going to put you on there. But listen, all right, if I give you guys mod powers, I don't want you to do any mod things. A couple of people that are mods on here can do mod things, like Tom and Raymond and Sue. But if I'm giving you new mod powers right now, David, I don't want you to get like angry with somebody and start modding people on here, basically. I want to give it to you just as a test to see about this comment thing we're talking about. And then also, you'll be off the delay. You won't have to wait 5 minutes if you have the mod. So I'm going to let David have it once more also. I know I made you one before, I remember, and you were kind of overzealous and I had to take it back. Well, you can keep it this time, David. Just don't use it. All right. And we'll see if this helps with the chat, especially with people. I don't want you guys to be censored. hopefully the mod power will allow your comments to go in unfiltered and see if this changes things. I might do this for everybody regularly if this works. All right, guys. Well, thanks for being here this morning with me for just a wild card Wednesday, just kind of a Phil Wednesday. Really happy to hear that all of our team is healthy and showing up for practice and ready to go for tomorrow. Is going to be a problem for Nick having to figure out who's going to start, but these are good problems to have. And this is going to be so good. And honestly, I really do think it's going to be the 4 vet guys with Scotty starting, and then we'll have Gary, Precious, and Chris as our first 3 off the bench. Our rotation will be very much that. So it'll be Fred, Scotty, OG, Pascal, and Jakob in the starting lineup. That's going to be my prediction. Shane's saying it usually a connection issue if message doesn't go through. I have issues with messages when I'm on data and not on Wi-Fi. Oh, okay. So it could be in some ways that you guys aren't just getting the data through because of your connection. I could see that too. All right, guys. Thanks for troubleshooting with me and just in general hanging out with me today on a snowy day in Toronto. 9:05 at 8 o'clock. Watch the game. And please like, comment, subscribe, and share if you enjoy the Raptor Freak channel. And I'll be back tomorrow for a regular preview. Once again, it'll be game day. I know y'all can't wait. I can't wait either. I am ready for you, Pelicans. Come to Toronto and we'll play y'all tomorrow night. We need to beat your ass. Yeah, we are so about watching some more Raptors basketball with Jakob Poeltl as our center. All right, guys. And Monique saying I'm going to the game tomorrow. I'll update you tomorrow. All right, Monique, you have fun at the game. You bring those good vibes and get that W for the Toronto Raptors when you go down there. Have a great day, y'all, and let's go Raptors.